Hey there, this is Jeff, one of the authors of the weight loss book Speed. And this, I think, is my fourth, this is part 4 of the series I'm doing on fiber and looking at the evidence, how well it's supported of really how important fiber is for our health and weight management. And so today's video post is regarding fiber and weight management. It's been a challenge. That's why I'm a week or so late behind doing this. I was hoping to have this a week ago, and so as I've been rereading the research, trying to come to some conclusions, it's been a bit of a challenge. But just want to point out a few things that I found, and obviously I'm going to try to sum this up well when I finish the reason report on fiber. So a couple things I thought interesting. There's been quite a bit of research on this topic of whether fiber does help with weight regulation, or really if it helps control appetite, how much we eat or how hungry we are. However, it seems that most of the studies are relatively short term, and when they do show a reduction in, say, the next meal, even though it's ad libitum, a lot of the studies don't follow for like full 24 hours or 48 hours and really see if there's compensation at potentially other meals when there is a reduction. So that's one of the interesting things, I think. Another part was one of the papers I reviewed, probably in the first video, the position statement paper by the American Dietetic Association, the implications of dietary fiber, the health implications of dietary fiber. So interesting, they have a criteria for evidence, of quality of evidence, and so grades 1 through 5, grade 1 is good, grade 2 is fair, grade 3 is limited, and so on. I point that out because for the aspects dealing with fiber and weight control, they feel that it's grade 3 limited, so not even the first 2 grades, it's the third of 5, and so the evidence isn't that solid that it actually helps with weight control. And that's a fairly conservative group who does typically tout fiber as kind of this magical component of food. But there is a number of papers. I'm just going to touch upon a couple. Interesting, I found that Joanne Slavin comes up a lot in the fiber research. She seems to be one of the key researchers of looking at fiber. So, for instance, she's got a paper called Foods and Satiety, Dietary Fiber and Satiety. The most recent one I found, here's the title, which is a bit, gives away kind of what happened. 2010 paper, and there's multiple other authors with it. Increasing doses of fiber do not influence short-term satiety or food intake and are inconsistently linked to gut hormone levels. So I guess I'll just mention the study now then. So they looked at eating a certain muffin in the morning at varying doses of fiber from 0 to 12 grams of a mixed fiber, soluble, insoluble, that kind of thing. And so so the conclusion, food intake did not change in a dose-dependent manner after subject ate the different amounts of fiber. So that was quite interesting. And then in the conclusion, despite common notions that fiber may improve satiety, this does not appear to be true in all types and doses of fiber. Therefore, blanket statements between fiber and satiety should be made with caution and should be specific in particular fiber type and dose. I thought that was kind of telling of probably the most recent paper on that I've kind of found lately on the connection with fiber and satiety and weight regulation kind of thing. So, you know, I think generally it's probably useful. A lot of the research too looks at higher carb diets relative to processed or unprocessed carbohydrates, or high carb diets with or without fiber. So not low carb diets with or without fiber. And obviously with ketogenic diets, which are very low in carbs and very low in fiber, yet they have quite a dramatic effect on reducing calorie intake, even when it's not needed. Even when in the study, if it's ad libitum, they can eat all they want, they still eat less. So that's clearly not due to fiber. So there's multiple mechanisms, protein being a particularly important one, ketones in a ketogenic diet. But fiber seems to be useful, I would say, at this time. Certainly, again, getting a good amount of non-starchy vegetables is probably useful. Within this realm, too, there's the work of Barbara Rolls with the volume aspect, is that it's possible that we're often trying to acquire a certain amount of volume, and then that volume is made up of a lot of fibrous, non-starchy type foods that are lower in calorie. It's possible we could eat less and still feel satisfied. So that's the key thing, obviously, with weight management and weight loss, is if we can eat less and not feel that hungry, it would make it much easier, because a top reason of why people cannot lose weight or continue to lose weight or keep it off is the hunger factor, which is affected by numerous variables that Matt and I talk about in the book. Social components, other psychological variables, the social aspects, meaning availability of food, even socioeconomic aspects. So there's numerous things. So I think for now I would say the evidence isn't great, as that one paper showed. It's a grade 3, and that's a recent paper. But I think there's enough evidence to show that it's probably useful to get some fiber, a good amount of fiber in your diet, particularly from non-starchy vegetables, and just a little bit of fruit and nuts and seeds in those areas, and those type of foods is probably a good idea. But anything more on like the specific fibers, a number of specific like supplemental fibers have been studied, and it's a little bit all over the board on that right now. So I'll have a better conclusion in the reason report when that's done in the next 2 or 3 weeks or so. So that's it for now on the fiber aspect regarding weight management, and until next time, take care.